We are live. We're broadcasting, and the room is filling up. So we're gonna wait though before we start the intro. Unlike the disaster that happened last week.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. No. So everybody, just wait a minute. We're letting the room fill up. Hope everybody had a good week, and thanks for joining us for drawing tonight. We've got a few. I know we've got at least one more. I know Bill is supposed to be joining us. He said he's going to be running a little late tonight.
Chris said he was coming just a little bit late.
Yeah, but we've got quite the panel already. So
all-star team. So do I have everybody that's here? Don,
Sorry, I cut you off, John, with the intro song.
It's okay. I needed to be cut off.
Yeah.
So, hey, everybody. Welcome to Illustration Isolation, episode 9,000 something. We're going to have a fun night tonight. We got some great reference. And whoops, I don't know why that came up that way. I apologize.
Here we go.
Almost like last week.
Yeah, it's like a Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
It's
we have tonight so far. We have Gil Ashby in the room. We have Don Kilpatrick. We have Cassandra Loomis Kim. Obviously, Timmy's here, and we have others on their way. Did I miss anybody? I can't see beyond my arrows. I think I got everybody that's here.
They're running through the hallways to get here.
They'll be here. I think Chris Payne's going to come and join us tonight. And we got some fantastic reference. If you're new to us, we do 4 20-minute poses. And our first pose for the evening is of, let me get things out of the way, Sister Rossetta Tharpe. And the reference, the charm of these things just slays me. I'm really excited. I love the era. I love the emotional quality to these photographs. This photograph was shot by Charles Peterson, and then the next is Miles Davis, and that is a profile right there. That is unbelievably beautiful photograph. I love that. Stanley Nelson, the photographer. Billie Holiday by William Gottlieb. And I think Bob Dylan, it's his 80th birthday, is that correct?
Bob Dylan, Robert Zimmerman.
Is it Zimmerman? Oh, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
His real name.
Yeah.
I thought you were correcting me on the photographer.
No, you got it right.
It's Daniel Kramer. I love this piece of reference, and I'm pretty sure that's the reference. It's one of my favorite illustrations that Malcolm Lipke used for a piece for Rolling Stone. I just love that.
Great call.
So again, 20-minute poses. In between each pose, you post your work to Instagram. And all the credentials are there for you to share and tag everybody. And at the end of the night, we'll scroll through and look at the drawings that were done. But this is going to be a fun night. I'm ready to go. Timmy, you got anything you want to say?
Only other thing I was going to say is please use the chat tonight. Ask questions. If you're bored of what we're talking about, it's your fault. Ask a question. Ask a question, direct the conversation. It doesn't have to be a brilliant question. It can be what we think about the latest season of, I don't know, Peaky Blinders or something. But it just guide the conversation. And please use not just panelists, but chat to panelists and attendees. And for your first input, please tell us where you're joining us from and if this is your first time joining tonight.
Awesome.
And if it is, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, welcome,
Thank you anyway.
newcomers.
Should be a very fun evening.
Somebody just said, what do you think about the latest season of Peaky Blinders?
I gotta see that.
Perfect question.
I haven't seen the latest seasons.
Okay.
Yeah, I just started watching it actually.
It's awesome.
Kidding?
Game on.
Cool, a lot of new people.
Gil's been gone so long, he's almost new.
Yeah.
True.
He did make a short, like that was like a cameo the last time you were in.
Yeah.
A one pose.
Okay. Hey, are we drawing now?
Oh yeah.
It's begun. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Also, while we were talking, somebody snuck into the room. We've got Dale Stefanos here.
Oh, Mr. Stefano.
Oh,
Hey Dale.
Hey, Dale.
he doesn't want to talk.
Sorry, I was muted.
By design.
Well, yeah, well, until Timmy mutes me
Again.
again. Yeah. I know I'm doing something right when I get muted.
Dale.
So, John, you'll get a kick out of this. Last night during study hall, there was a thunderstorm here, and the house next door got hit by lightning, and and we got the underground shot.
Oh, whoa.
Knocked out like half of the electronics in the house.
Oh no.
Air conditioning, TVs, cable.
Oh,
So
I
that's.
thought you were having like air conditioning issues anyway.
I was, you know what? And I wonder if this was just God saying enough is enough.
Now insurance will cover it.
That's right.
Yeah. Divine intervention.
New air conditioners all around.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
so loud when lightning strikes. I never realized like how loud until I was like really near.
Yeah, it's like an explosion.
Yeah.
Here's a question from Jeff Brain. Some folks like silence, others music while working. What is the preference of everybody on the panel? As a jazz musician, I naturally listen to jazz while drawing. Does anybody on the panel prefer dead silence?
Sometimes.
I prefer my preference is I like to listen to Gil talk. So
That's very flattering. You know, but I actually always listen to jazz because of the way the energy swings. And it's weird, but when I left the 40s and I was living in a new environment, I started just drawing in silence. But in class, I listened to music. So
what kind of jazz do you like, Gil?
I like traditional bebop. But I also listen, I love all of the new stuff that's going on now. So I love these I like these fusions of different cultures mixed with jazz, mixed with hip hop. It's just really heady music because I like complex music.
Gil, Kendrick Lamar was the first artist that I listened to that I noticed that fusion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's a little bit too young for me.
Right.
So anybody that didn't understand what I was saying, why I prefer that, now you know my point.
Right.
I listen to most of the people I listen to. Well, not anymore because it's a whole new generation of guys that are brilliant. But they were, I don't know how to. They're all dead.
Yeah. So even the new guys are dead.
Yeah,
That's funny, isn't it? I
dead.
don't mean that's funny, but you know what I mean.
No, it's just the old guys from that innovated bebop. That's my space that I love. But my students keep turning me on to cool stuff, and I'm enjoying music again. So it's coming back into the studio.
Bill, you're logging in like a true art dad. Just camera right up at your face. Hey, like, is this thing on?
Can you hear me?
We've got Bill Coben here now.
Bill.
A series favorite.
I'm a big fan of books and podcasts to listen to because I like to have the part of my brain that like is wondering what's going on in the world distracted, so I'll focus on my painting.
Cassandra, have you burned through all of Armchair Expert?
I have not. I divvy it up, and I've been going through a bunch of like art podcasts too, but I couldn't resist. I listened to the Prince Harry one, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, sometimes their podcast feels a bit like a People magazine.
Exactly, it does feel like that. So I kind of
I feel kind of gross when I really like it because I'm like, this isn't. I feel like I'm reading Us Weekly.
Well, it was actually really good because he was talking.
That I kind of am being rough on it. It's very good. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I actually don't disagree, and that's one of those things that I would never have a subscription to People magazine, but if my husband for some reason runs to the pharmacy, he like always kindly just pops one in front of me.
Yeah. What was I going to ask? What else are you listening to?
Well, I really like Art Affairs.
Oh, cool.
And then,
I wanted to know what art podcast you were listening to.
Yeah, let's see.
That's the one.
Well, no, there's a couple. I'm trying to remember them, and now I'm making my brain.
Pressure.
I was listening to Art's Cool with Ken Goshen.
Oh, cool.
And then I really like Deakins, the cinematographer, and he has a podcast, so I was listening to that a bit.
Wow.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
Roger Deakins.
Yeah. So him and his wife have a podcast, and they like they'll interview different like cinematographers or actors, or like they'll spend a podcast just breaking down a movie they worked on, like Shawshank.
Oh, boy. That's awesome.
Yeah, so stuff like that. It's just fun, and I like hearing what other people are doing, and so that kind of engages my brain to keep me from getting too distracted.
We advertised for a while with the Lonely Palette. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
No, I'll have to check that out.
Anybody in the audience ever listen to the Lonely Palette?
I've listened to that. Yeah.
Yeah, she's
that's
great.
how I found
I
out
highly
about
recommend
you
it.
guys.
That's how you found out about us, Dale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a small podcast, but it's really cool. She goes to museums. She does a ton of homework, usually on I think it's often on a single artist, and then she'll go to a showing of that artist at a museum and interview people viewing it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'll definitely check that out. The Lonely Palette, is that what you called it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good. It's good.
You guys should put a playlist up for us non-casters.
I'll do that.
It sounds like a cool thing to do, because I never thought about listening to, a kind of a verbal scenario while working. And
It's a nice change.
Yeah. Like
Gil, I have a hard time listening to jazz or a lot of music when I'm working, because I'm I don't know, maybe it's because I was a musician, but I'm a very active listener. I'm not
Right.
it's not a
Right.
passive thing.
Right.
So
Right.
I just get way too, I don't sit and just passively let it wash over me.
Well, I agree with that, and that's probably one of the reasons that I've stopped listening to music,
yeah,
because it gets into my psyche, my subconscious, and it influences me, which I love. But I've been like focusing on like academic drawing
yeah.
for the last decade, because that's what I'm trying to teach and really trying to understand it. And because it's not just about me, it's about trying to get focused and get the information, right?
Yep.
But the thing that allowed me to listen to jazz is because there was no lyrics.
No, oh, lyrics.
No lyrics. I don't
Oh,
listen
see,
to.
I'm more of an instrumental guy.
I'm totally instrumental.
Yeah. See, my problem is I want to go figure stuff out. Okay, I think I could play that.
What about like movie score?
Those are cool.
Like what?
Movie score?
Yeah.
Oh no, I know Chris listens to movie scores. I don't listen to a lot of that.
Yeah, I really like that too.
Hey, have you guys heard that podcast Winds of Change?
No, I've seen it, but I haven't listened to it.
Oh, it's awesome. It doesn't matter if you like the music. It centers around the band the Scorpions, Rock You Like a Hurricane. They did this song Winds of Change that coincided with the Berlin Wall falling and the Soviet Union falling apart. And the thesis is the question is, was it written by the CIA? And the podcast is actually like a deep dive into whether the CIA would do this kind of thing. And I mean, if you've seen
cool.
Argo, they would.
Totally.
But like Gil, they were discussing how Nina Simone's trip to Africa was actually a CIA front, basically. She didn't even know she was being involved.
Okay.
Louis Armstrong was sent to Africa as a sort of an ambassador,
Sure.
kind of not against his own will, but not with his full approval. So it really fascinating.
So Dale, you really feel like the CIA is capable of making such a great hit like Rock You Like a Hurricane?
Okay. Yes.
Think about the intellectual folk, even if it's not being directed, maybe, but if the energy is directed to a cause that might be a little, little shaky. These are thinking people.
Oh yeah, I know. I just think it's funny that it is kind of a hilarious song. Yeah, of all of the songs for the CIA to produce,
right? Even Spies for the Government could be funny.
Yeah,
meet them at a cocktail party, and I'm saying this with tongue in cheek, so I'm not.
Yeah,
that stuff is real,
Yeah.
Now I want to check out that podcast. That just sounds entertaining.
If I was in the CIA, I would do everything I could to make people
laugh
believe I didn't exist.
Right.
And
Bill got fired because he started doing a drawing podcast.
I mean,
great job overthrowing that government.
Yeah.
Isn't that the whole point of the invisible hand?
I don't know. Hey, Bill, what material are you using?
I am using CIA approved watercolor.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't tell you what material I'm using, otherwise.
Yeah.
No, I'm using watercolor on it's like a hot press Fabriano watercolor paper.
Nice. Is that what you were doing this morning for Studio Bridge?
Kind of. I was doing a mix of that with some house paint that I have for the lights.
Oh, wow.
And then I was also painting on, I was stealing from Cassandra and painting on cardboard.
Sweet. That's not stealing. That's reusing.
That's what?
I said that's not stealing. That's reusing.
Yeah, I was, yeah. And
Wow.
so, yeah. I'm sorry, I killed the CIA conversation there.
That's Timmy did.
No, I think everybody knows that it was pretty obvious.
Find out.
I actually have a lighting question. I was curious. Is everybody, John, I know you're very particular about your lights. You use a 5,000 Kelvin light when you're drawing, right?
I do, but they're actually they're fluorescent,
Really?
color corrected fluorescence, but they're
Okay.
true daylight.
Yeah. Does everybody else care about that, or is that?
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
care a lot about that.
I care about
Yeah.
that, particularly when you get into color.
I
Yeah.
care about
John.
how it looks, but I don't think I know what it is. It's just a matter of the light is right.
Uh-huh.
How many tubes do you use, John?
I have it's funny, I have 4, but they're LEDs. They're LED fluorescents, and they're crazy bright. And I have 4, but I only have 2 of them on right now.
Oh,
And
wow.
if I turn them all on, it's crazy bright.
How many watts?
I have no idea.
Because that's the thing I have a hard time with the fluorescents. They always seem too dim. Like
Oh, my,
Cassandra was just saying, I need a bright light, man.
these are insane. I mean, they have to be because I can't see. I mean, they're so much brighter. I had this like really expensive setup before. These are from Lowe's that were like $60 each set for 2.
Oh.
And they work better than my old lights do. I like them a lot.
So Cassandra,
Why that temperature?
Would you say?
Why that particular temperature?
Of the light,
Yeah.
because they're pure white. They're true daylight.
Ah, okay.
I would assume, I could be wrong. I would agree, John, that daylight is, 5,000 is probably the best light that you could go with, like temp wise. I would think the worst thing you could do though is mix your light color.
Uh-oh.
Is that correct?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Does that transfer?
I
In
used to do-
photography, that's the worst.
I actually mixed fluorescent and incandescent to get a balance.
Really?
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah,
I'm doing.
And now that we have these new technologies, I'm going for the same idea.
Oh, are you doing it like in the same light panel?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm doing this.
Dual lamp.
I'll show you mine. So I've got a
So it's
fluorescent-
coming from the same source.
That's a cool, and this is a
Yeah.
warm. But
Okay.
I've noticed if I try to take a photo of something in here, the warm just overpowers everything. And
Yeah.
I've got to take the, just use the cool. And then I just adjust it in Photoshop anyway, so.
Right.
Right. New deal.
Yeah. I guess that doesn't translate from photography, because if you take a photo of something like that, they'll look sick.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's where you get that kind of green face.
Mhm.
What, mixing temperatures?
Well, so like if you have fluorescent, and it's been a while since I've had to worry about this. So might butcher it, but if I were to go into a room that had fluorescent lights, but then had a bunch of tungsten, like floor lights or something,
Okay.
you know, when you get that mixture, you'll end up with the green, you know, you'll want to go with one or the other. You'll want to turn off your fluorescence and use the floor, or you can try and match the fluorescence, turn off the floors, and put like a green tint on your lights. Somebody says you can white balance when you mix color, but not well.
Do you think part of that's a throwback to the days of using film when certain films would be set up for certain films would be set up for different temperatures?
I would think.
Oh, I don't know.
Because in the camera, you can set your temperature, right, to like whatever your light source is.
I would-
Yeah,
I would
yeah. I
go-
mean, you
I would
still
go
do
with
that today. Yeah.
Right. And so that's kind of and that's probably smarter than just letting the camera.
And you match your light source to your environment. That's the thing. That's why you get gels.
Yeah. But I mean, you can tell the camera, like, these are tungsten lights, these are,
Right.
does that make sense?
Yep. And that would be
I usually was bringing a light kit wherever I went, so it was a lot of matching, trying to match the lights in the location you're at.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, you selected the lights according to your setup, and you set your camera according to those lights.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Back in the old days, we had to learn photography.
That was my first job as a photo assistant. I got hired when I was like 15, 14. I was probably 14 because my mom had to drop me off at the shoots. It was this wedding photographer, and I ran around with the color balance and light meter. Back when we had light meters.
What's the light meter?
Just it just measures the light in a space.
I know what a light meter.
Were you messing with me, Gil?
Bill's
Of
joking.
course. Don't give me that, my friend.
Man, that's just hateful.
Hey,
Somebody says we still use light meters, non-commercial sets. I haven't seen somebody professionally handle a light meter on a commercial set. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I actually know one person who does, but it is rare.
Okay, so for somebody who's
It is
dumb
really
like
rare.
me, why wouldn't you see somebody using a light meter now?
I don't really know. I mean, it's just really easy to just, you see the results, you know the results immediately.
Right.
There's probably a better answer. The person even said, in film at least. So in film, yeah, you had to use it because then you had a precise answer, If you are like a commercial photographer and you're shooting film, like there wasn't like a room for error that allowed you to be like, I guess I just gauged the room wrong.
Right.
Sorry.
Whoops.
Yeah. The whole shoot, it's like, yeah.
you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Too much money.
Yeah.
Too much.
But I mean, like, yeah, like you can, they've got there's so many ways you can measure the light, like in camera now.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, that's kind of what I figured, but
Yeah.
I
But
didn't
when
didn't
I was
want to
taught,
pick the
I was
answer.
still taught with it. It helped you understand it. It did help you understand it. Like when I was taught lighting for photography, I was not taught with a camera. And I think everybody should learn that way. But you don't need a camera to understand it at first. I mean, eventually you do, but it's pretty fun if you get a light and somebody who really understands how to control it. You learn how to manipulate it and how it reacts to different different variables. You start to learn the concrete variables that exist with a light source,
Right.
because there are only a few, and there are only a few ways you can change a light. And if you learn those, you become a really great photographer.
Do you feel like there's a lot of people these days who, or there's people that are younger who have sort of a less of an understanding of those things?
I don't know. I think I look on Instagram and I think that there are a lot of really talented photographers that are young and pretty amazing,
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't dog on that. I think it's easy to like say that, but no, I don't
Yeah,
think
I would
so.
think
Yeah, I agree.
these guys are students.
Yeah.
There's always going to be somebody who's a natural.
Yeah, I do, Gil, to that point. I think that there are some people that may not be able to teach it well or explain it well, but they just know how to find it.
Exactly.
Right.
And like I had to have somebody very technically walk me through it, and I still don't often, I still don't. I don't consider myself there's a reason why I run an online art school instead of a photography business now. But I do nerd out on those conversations. And
Cool stuff.
Bill, I have run into photographers who have been very naive about it and said it's kind of overrated. And that's always kind of stupid to hear.
Well,
yeah.
I wonder if it's similar to color theory. There's
Yeah.
people that use color really well, but couldn't explain color theory to save their lives.
Yeah.
And there's people that don't understand necessarily their color theory.
Uh-huh.
I tend to think that people who use color really well on some intuitive level understand what they're doing, and if they were forced to, they probably could explain it.
Hey, I'm gonna put a pin in that really quick. We're at 20 minutes, so please post your work. We're over 20 minutes by a couple minutes, so we're moving on now. There's no break.
Yeah.
So I am starting the clock, but please be sure to post your work. Use the hashtag illustration isolation. Also, if you go to the website, to the page these photos are on, the tags are right there, so you can grab them at Visual Arts Passage and hashtag illustration isolation.
I love the photos that you use.
Yeah, they're so great.
Thank you, John.
Well, Alice, we got to thank Alice. She found half of them and I found half of them.
Oh, thank you, John and Alex.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, they're just cool.
Yeah, really fantastic.
Next up,
Is Miles next, or is Billie Holiday next?
Miles.
wow, it's okay.
Cool.
Did you scan, or you can do that? I'm only seeing the Visual Arts Passage. Plug. How do I change that screen?
Ooh, that looks nice, Gil. That's awesome.
I can't see you guys work. My screen is
Here,
look,
Gil, hit escape.
okay. There we go.
Give that a try.
It took me to.
Oh,
Jeez.
Or maybe go to gallery view in the top
yeah,
right
there you
corner.
go.
It's taking me. Let me see what's going on. It's taking me. Go back here.
Good.
You guys see what's going on my screen? I'm not seeing my Zoom. Oh, there it is. Jeez. Okay, here we go. Sorry, guys.
The thing that just on the topic of photography, and I'm just curious if there's a parallel, is I never understood landscape photography landscape photography at all. Wouldn't have any interest in trying to do it. Couldn't have gotten hired to do it. It would have just been the most, I don't, when I see a great landscape photo, it absolutely baffles me as to how it was done. Do you feel like that is there? I don't know. How does that transfer in illustration? Portrait to landscape.
Well,
Beautiful landscape is a beautiful landscape.
it's like caricatures, like that kind of blows my mind.
I guess
I don't
that's a
know.
really bad question.
No, I'm thinking about it. I'm
No, it's a
like-
good question. but you're thinking about it.
Because I think I mean, you know, you can ask John. I mean, I've seen John do really good landscapes and I've seen him do really good portraits. So like, I think for some people, maybe they're able to shift between the two. And for some people, it's more of a challenge.
I think that good landscape painting is usually a lot closer to doing abstract work than you think. It's really more about composition than it is, copying something. And the type of landscape work that I like to look at is work that's usually done in the studio that's really inventive. And again, it's just it's kind of, even more than landscape work is still life. I mean, it's so dependent on your design skills. And
Right.
And I think that that's why I think that like still life painting is one of the ultimate forms of development, because you can you got to consider that you're just constantly considering the composition. And I think landscape is very similar that way. You can do portraits and figures. I mean, ultimately it still comes down to design too, but if you can get a lot of interest out of the drawing and the way that it, sits on the page and all of that, but I think ultimately that design kind of separates everybody,
Right.
interest in composition, and
Point, John.
it's the hardest thing to learn for sure.
That's a good point, John.
Oh, yeah, I think that's,
And that's like abstract art as well. And that's the parallel between landscape and abstract art. It's for that very reason. Because I just remember when being a student and looking at the top of the cream of the crop of the abstract expressionists, and their compositions were powerful. And it's the same with landscape. Landscape is intimidating though, because man, especially if you look at somebody like Church, or you look at those two brothers. Whew, what are their names? They good Lord, the paintings that they did were stunning. Somebody help me here. The landscape painters, they were incredible. I'll think of the names.
When did
What
they
time
work?
period?
I'm sorry.
What time period?
God,
They're still alive? Oh, I don't know.
I got to think about it.
The Hildebrand brothers?
No.
I was gonna say, I mean, that's the only brothers I can think of.
No. Name a couple of landscape artists. I mean, classic landscape painters.
Turner, Constantine,
Twatchman,
Gainsborough.
Metcalf.
These guys, the canvases that they painted were like 20 feet by. Oh God, it's gonna come to me. I'll come. And their work is just stunning.
Yeah.
It's almost here. When I mention it, you guys are gonna be like, yeah, okay. I mean, the mixture of expression and impressionism.
Well, now I really want to know.
Bierstadt.
Oh, Bierstadt?
Okay.
Oh, Bierstadt, okay,
Oh, good job, Terry. Terry Brown called it.
thanks.
I didn't know Bierstadt.
I didn't know they were brothers.
I didn't know
He's
they were
got-
brothers.
There were two of them. Terry, correct me if I'm wrong. There were two of those guys.
Oh, I had no idea. That's the only way they could carry those things around.
Good take on that one. I'm
Very
very,
good.
that was clever.
Well, I'm not going to bag on Bierstadt because of its great work, but it's kind of the opposite of the type of landscape I like.
You don't like the subtlety of Bierstadt landscape, John?
I don't know. They're not like, it's not like super inventive to me.
I don't know. I look at that a little differently, John. I don't agree with
But
that.
here, I feel like we're having this discussion between classical music and jazz when discussing landscapes.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
Well, I think,
the emotion is in those landscapes, to me, is stunning.
You know, you know who Russell Chatham is?
Chatham, I think, I'm pretty sure I've seen
He just passed away. He was a Montana guy. He was my favorite of contemporary landscape painters.
Okay.
Really fantastic.
I unfortunately don't have a great handle on the contemporary.
Well, no, I'm not saying I dislike Bierstadt. I just,
no.
that's not the thing that gets me. It's kind of the opposite what I was discussing.
Right.
You know, I look at things like that Diebenkorn did as an expressionist, that
Oh,
you know,
brilliant.
Zoom Park series. Those are landscapes.
Yeah.
For
For sure.
And they are powerful.
you know, I did a thing recently with some Diebenkorns as I traced over them for a class, the landscapes, and the same design elements that are in his latest, you know, his last works, the most simplistic or the most, you know, geometric and flattest work that he did. There's much more of a relationship between that work than his earlier abstract expressionist work.
Yeah, Diebenkorn is just brilliant. Again, and that goes back to that initial point about design sense.
Yeah. And a lot of the
100%.
people that he looked at, Augustus Gay, Selden Guile, Elmer Bischoff, those are the people that really get me excited as landscape painters.
Yeah.
They're the California colors.
Yeah. How about the those Canadians, the Canadian group of landscape artists?
The Brandt brothers?
Yeah.
Those guys.
Who?
I'm gonna hit it.
Those guys. The Hildebrandt.
I know who you're talking about.
My brain is a little slow. It'll come around.
You're just warming up, Gil.
What about no, there's that great guy, Kincaid.
You mean the Master of Light?
The Master of Light.
Paint with light.
That's right. Yeah.
The Newsweek article that they did on him was titled "The Painter of Trite."
Oh,
Nice.
Aw.
Didn't Greg Spolenka go to school with him?
No,
No?
Yeah.
it was Gurney.
Was that?
Yeah.
Oh, Chris. Hey, Chris.
Hi, guys. Just got back in. Hey, guys.
Hey, dude, man.
Chris Spolenka knew him too.
I just got in. But actually, you know, the interesting thing about Kincaid was he really was a good matte painter in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had chops. He just made bad choices.
Oh, did he?
Chris, my dad's reaction to when he found out, because actually I've seen some paintings of his that were pretty exceptional. And when my dad found out that he could actually paint, he said that just makes it worse.
Well,
Yes.
he knew better.
It's like, what's wrong with you?
well, it's like Joe Citriani. You know, I mean, he can play the hell out of the guitar. He can't stand his music.
Like,
We're gonna.
uh-oh.
Fight's gonna break out here.
He knows we're fighting words, man.
I know. Again, that's why Baskin Robbins makes 32 flavors.
Ah, good one, Chris. Touche.
Yeah, am I gonna have to make a breakout room?
Are we
But you
trying?
know, really, the greatest American painter of the 20th century was Leroy Neiman, right?
Who?
Hey, I'm just gonna give a
John knows
reminder.
who I'm talking about.
Everybody, I'm just gonna give a reminder. We got a lot of people in the room tonight, so and we are using the transcript, which is helpful for a couple people in the room. So just try not to talk over each other.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Okay, I'll mute.
Yeah, same here.
Oh, you're both so sensitive.
I was using Neiman as an example earlier today to somebody of, someone who was financially successful, but really awful, or at least in my opinion, really awful.
Oh, that's everybody does their own thing. And so it's probably, I always kind of joke about it and think about, I have my own opinions, but who am I to say that this person was good or bad or whatever?
That's fair. That's very important. The person who might not have the amazing draftsmanship can tell an incredible story.
Right.
It's just as valid. And that's the power and beauty of art, I think. That student might be a failure when it comes to the formalities and the technical, but the power of expression.
I have a question for Chris. Chris, have you done Miles before? You'll have to unmute.
I've drawn him, but not professionally. No, but nobody's ever given me a job to draw him. In other words.
No. Okay, I didn't understand that. You does that mean you didn't draw him well, or you just were not professionally? I like that. You did it for yourself.
That's right. I've drawn him many times. He's got such an incredible face and such, when he's playing, just there's such a body gesture to him. If you draw him, there's so much meat on the plate. Come on.
Yeah, especially as he aged. My gosh, he just got so interesting looking.
I mean, I've got one of these old books of jazz, probably from the early 50s, that just, the only pictures of Miles Davis when he's very, very young. And it's just, he's just fantastic.
And I've got a question really for anybody just on the topic of subjectivity. Can you think of many, I know there are a lot of artists, who died poor, so not financial, it's not a financial question, but of illustrators or artists who were critically unrecognized, not even unrecognized, were hated on, I guess, until much later. So it's kind of specific. It's not they weren't found, but they were actually people thought they were bad, right?
Didn't they say that about Maurice Sendak?
Yeah.
In some ways, it may have been if they had to talk with him personally, because he could be a pretty tough individual.
Yeah.
He had a fairly, I don't know if the word would be gruff, but he was a strong-willed individual. Let's put it that way.
I guess
the documentary on him, and he came off pretty grumpy.
Yeah. I guess the question is really like I guess it's artists where, culture caught up with them much later. Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know.
There's a few that had, the one that I can think of that's most interesting, Terry could probably help me with this, but
Yeah, Terry would know.
Maxfield Parrish had tremendous success. And then he just got dropped. It's like nobody would hire him. Nobody would, he wasn't pertinent anymore. And he became very bitter about it. But he was a huge financial success. I don't know.
I think one of the more interesting characters is Norman Mingo. Norman Mingo, who most of you guys would know him for being famous for Alfred E. Newman in the 1960s and 70s for Mad Magazine. But in the early part of his career, he was just and I use the term just but there was just so much illustration being commissioned at that time for advertising, for publication, for anything. I mean, every publication you had was just chock full of advertising. So, I mean, he had a very successful career as a commercial illustrator, doing artwork for ads for, whether it was soap or Brill cream. I remember there's this one ad he did. It's like this beautiful woman, and that tagline is, "I like men because who are smooth and about, shaving," or something like that. And it's this kind of a cheesy ad, but it's from one of these 1940 Life magazines I picked up. And so, I mean, he had a very established career and made it decent money. But after photography really took hold for advertising in the late 40s, early 50s, I mean, the phone just stopped ringing to the point where he had a difficult time. And he ended up getting the job of doing Alfred E. Newman, which he is most famous for now, like at 60 years old, after and he basically answered a want ad in a New York Times looking for artists for this upcoming new magazine called Mad Magazine.
Wow.
And I think it's one of the more fascinating things was this guy who for 30 plus years had a successful life as an illustrator. It wasn't the high profile stuff of Parrish and Rockwell and Wyatt, but those guys made good livings doing what they were doing. And then all of a sudden, the bottom dropped out. And now, of course, his Mad Magazine originals are incredibly valuable.
That's fascinating. I didn't know that.
How about it? You can go back and look in the original or the really old. I don't know how many, what annuals they were, but you can go back and find Peter Max working as an illustrator.
Oh, yeah. Well, Andy Warhol with the shoe ads.
Yeah.
And we just hit 20 minutes for the second post. So please post your work, hashtag illustration isolation and at Visual Arts Passage.
Sorry, I came in late.
No, great to have you, Chris. Dale, are you gonna join us again, or are you not gonna forgive us?
I'm joining until the next.
Is this a drawing?
Transgression, and then I'll mute again. I'll treat my mute button like I do single speed bikes. Gift when you want, and just shut up when you want.
Right. Okay, so we're on to the third image, which is Billie Holiday.
I can think of a few illustrators who kind of had their heyday, and then towards the last 20 years of their life or 15 years of their life, they didn't have much work.
I think Montgomery Flagg would fall into that category. I think Dulac, the end of his life was pretty impoverished.
he got pretty angry too, though. He was hanging out with the Hollywood crowd, and from what
Oh,
I've read, it sounded like he was grappling with the fact that, you know, you get older.
Yeah.
What?
That picture of him with who was there's an actress. Darn it! I wish I remember which actress it was, but like one of the great Hollywood actresses of the 40s and 50s, and I guess he was painting her portrait, and they were getting along really well, and he thought, hey, here we are, and she said, boy, I like you so much, you remind me of my father. I guess that kind of ended that.
Yeah.
Needed a better comeback line.
I know he could have just adjusted the painting, probably. You look like my mother. And here you are. Here's the proof.
But I'm better than your brother. So we're drawing Billie Holiday. Is that next?
We're
Yeah.
supposed to be. I'm not right now.
I'm still working on Miles.
Like on Miles right now.
I had a really bad ear a few weeks ago, and I feel like I'm redeeming my ear.
The ear week.
I was thinking about that conversation when I started to draw that ear.
Me too.
And then I stopped drawing it. I was like, maybe I should wait.
Oh, I love drawing. Ears are fun.
They're best. That's why I'm always mystified when I do a really bad ear. It happens.
Aren't ears like fingerprints and each one is
Yes. Yes. They are as individual as a fingerprint.
So we could have solved some crimes with ear prints.
yeah.
Well, unless you're cracking a safe with your ear, it's a little,
Well, you do put your ear right up to it. I mean, Chris, you've cracked a safe or two.
back when I needed some baseball cards. So what is everybody working on these days? I'm just drawing birds these days.
I
Those
love that
birds are
bird, by the way.
Wrote a bunch of square birds.
Those are incredible.
They're so cute.
Well, now my next goal is to start doing different states, like a road runner in the shape of New Mexico and things like that.
That'll be fantastic.
I got all this masonite. What am I going to do with it? So do something with it,
That's what I love about artists is I have this building material. What should I make? Right? It's not like I'll build something.
I think everybody's going in pretty deep on the Miles. Huh?
What's that, Gil?
Everyone's going in pretty deep on the Miles.
Yeah,
I'm gonna move on. I love Billie Holiday. I just can't seem to walk away from this yet.
Maybe we should do Billie Holiday last.
But the Bob Dylan picture is cool too.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, Bob Dylan. True that.
So we'll extend the night by 20 minutes.
Timmy's gonna be so excited about that.
Well,
My problem is when I look at that Bob Dylan reference, it's like all I can think of is the Skip Lipke painting, and I feel pretty inadequate.
That was,
Didn't Daniel Mafia do a great villain as well?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
That's the one that's in my head.
I remember also Mafia's Van Morrison.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Whatever happened to Daniel Mafia? There's a big old, you want to talk about what we were talking about before. I mean, it's always amazing to me is to see artists who you would see, say, in a Society of Illustrators, and they're in there all the time. And then all of a sudden the trap door opens and they're never seen again.
Yeah.
Who's the guy that did the Nosferatu movie poster back in the day? God, I can't think of that.
Chris, how about Herb Taus?
Well, Herb was around a long time, and
I know.
mean, I think, I don't know, John may know a little bit more about Herb. I mean, Herb, I think when his wife passed away, I think there were some things that
Okay.
that he dealt with that were difficult, but no, Herb was just absolutely brilliant. But
Because I remember
Terry Brown here, he could probably tell you a few Herb stories. I mean,
I remember those amazing drawings that he did. The black and white drawings.
yeah,
And then it was like after that, it was a couple of years, and then I didn't remember seeing him out there anymore.
yeah.
The last thing I remember seeing of his was a painting of his dog for print magazine, I think.
Gotcha. The guy I was thinking of was David Palladini.
Okay.
Do you remember the David Palladinis in Society of Illustrators?
Yeah.
Some
Did he teach
beautiful.
at Pratt?
Pardon?
Did he teach at Pratt?
That I don't know. Like I said, I'm in flyover country in Ohio. You know that. Come on, yo, you're in Michigan. We're in flyover country.
You know what? I live here, but I didn't grow up in that. So I
Yeah.
got a different take on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just figured out what it meant like 3 years ago.
But no, Palladini, I mean, gosh, the stuff he was doing. I mean, I remember the Nosferatu poster and some of the other images in Society of Illustrators were just stunning. I mean, there was a time I remember, man, you couldn't open up that book without seeing Doug Johnson every time and just blow you away.
I remember talking to David Grove about the whole falling out of favor thing. And,
Oh, yeah?
and he said, it's at one point his phone just stopped ringing. He stopped getting calls, Didn't seem to.
It's the challenge that I think every illustrator has, in the sense where I can't remember who said it. It's one thing being an illustrator for 5 years. The difficult thing is being it for 35 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you've got to adapt and change, and especially if you're closely associated with a period of time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Bill, you were just talking about David Grove. I mean, that's a very specific time period, right?
Yeah.
You've got,
And a lot of times for illustrators, all it takes is just, an art director to leave a position and move on to someplace else. And all of a sudden, whoever takes that art director's place, they want to have their own people and all of a sudden the phone just stops ringing. I mean, what was it, for 15, almost 20 years, I did work for Rolling Stone, but when Fred and Gail left, I mean, the trap door opened and never to be heard from again.
I also remember in 2001, there were a bunch of us on the West Coast that stopped getting work.
Yeah.
It was just like the phone just stopped ringing for everybody. And
Just 2001, is that what you said?
yeah,
Well, yeah, that was, I mean, I think that wasn't just West Coast. That was
That was a lot of places.
a tough time, man. Yeah.
yeah. And so, you know, I mean, I had to stop. I had to do other things for a long time. And a lot of other people just never, you know.
Well, that was unfortunately the period that illustrators were supposedly dead. You know, we didn't create our own content.
Say it again.
So we were supposedly dead because we didn't create our own content.
Right.
We had not yet taken over Photoshop and turned it into the paint box that it is now.
Oh, she's I didn't even hear about that. I'm glad I didn't know.
I mean, I remember the business of illustration book and the business of graphic design book.
Yeah.
Right.
And those were all about like advocating becoming auteurs, you know. And so they talk about, you know, kind of creating your own, well, creating your own content, but also like going into different areas, you know, like toy design and you know, this and that, and not everybody does that, you know.
Yeah. Well, I remember being at Icon and listening to Milton Glaser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a big turning point for me. And
Speaking of Bob Dylan covers.
Oh yeah.
how about that?
Which one was that, Gil? Was that Santa Fe?
Yeah, that was
That
Santa
was
Fe.
Philadelphia.
That
That
was,
was,
He
no,
was in Philadelphia too.
but he was the keynote speaker at the first one.
okay.
He was keynote at the Philadelphia. That was the one I went to with the Illustration Academy.
Okay.
Yeah, he did
He
it.
was there too. I didn't remember that. Wow. Okay. But
Chris would probably know more about that than any of us.
yeah, that's right, because Chris was in the mix of that. That whole,
What do you mean mix of it? He created it.
yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'm almost ready to go to Billy.
That looks great, Gil.
Thank you.
Yeah, it does. Your light is awesome.
Oh yeah.
Well, you know, thank you guys. In my early days, the portrait was my gig. And I was fortunate enough because I could draw people well, and particularly people of color. So I got a lot of work because the market was open. And I was really fortunate. Thank you guys.
Gil, I'm going to add a caveat to that. You got a lot of work because you were good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I was pretty fortunate.
Nobody gets a lot of work in this business if they're not.
I understand that. You know, count my blessings, you know. Feel fortunate to be in the mix. That's why hanging out with you guys, it does mean something to me. So just for the records.
Nice of you to say.
No, man, I remember first time that I saw, and this is, you know, the first time I saw those posters, man, for the Academy, you know, and the guys that were here,
and always wanted to be able to hang out. I was like, when I grow up, can I go and draw with the academy?
I
John,
remember,
you know that because our conversations, I just always had a lot of respect.
Gil, I remember that first poster really well too, because I spelt Gary Kelly's name wrong.
That's incredible.
But the art was so amazing, it didn't matter.
And he called me.
John, what was the
You got
image?
it
on
to
the
him.
poster?
Right?
I didn't know Gary at all, hardly. But when I'd only met him once, and he was kind of embarrassed. He called me and said, "No, John," he said, "my name is spelled EY," and I was like, "Oh my God, I couldn't believe I did it." My out was I had hired a designer to do it for me, a very good designer, and I blamed it on him.
Excellent.
I gave him the wrong spelling.
Everybody knows designers can't spell.
Oh, my
Hey,
God.
how much time do we have for Billy? I'm gonna go in on Billy. Don, nice move on that Billy.
It's 4.5 minutes left.
4.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I got to get over there to Billy.
I gotta get over.
Yeah, I never went over to Billy. All right.
Jump on the Billy train.
on the Billy train.
That sounds really bad. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that.
Ah,
Could have been worse.
Strike that from the public record. Has anybody ever seen the Jose Munoz and Carlos Sampaio graphic novel about Billie Holiday?
I think I've seen it.
It's really, really well done. It's very sad,
Well, her
oh
story.
yeah, she had a tragic childhood.
but
Sad
but
story.
beautifully done.
Sad story. There's nothing good about that story.
No.
Strange fruit. Remember that.
Love her voice so much, though.
Yes.
She tells a story.
Does.
I think you probably all know she got set up. Yeah, was it FBI? Was it an FBI agent or a CIA? I think it was FBI agent.
Yeah.
But that was a common thing with jazz musicians.
Yeah.
You know, they go into a town, and if people knew that they were, drug users, it was unfortunately a good opportunity to make a big public, right?
Yep.
Score, right? It's unfortunate. Being Billie Holiday, being Miles Davis, being
Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash. That's right.
I've been meaning to see Don Cheadle's film. I think it's
It was pretty good.
Is it good?
Yeah.
It's called Miles. Is it Miles Ahead or Miles Away?
I can't remember
Yeah.
It was
Is it
good.
recent or is it an old movie?
In the past couple of years,
It's amazing.
I listened to an interview with Don Cheadle, and he kind of walked through why he made it the film that it is, because in Don or Gail, correct me if I'm wrong, it takes place in one day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he had to get the whole family, the estate on board with making the film, and they really wanted to do a very traditional biopic, similar to like the Jamie Foxx, Ray Charles, or there's kind of that formula that was used for the Johnny Cash film too. And he was just like, there's no way that will ever do him justice. And with this route, it'll just be one small story from his life, and it allows many more opportunities to tell those other stories. I thought it was really interesting. And it's pretty amazing he got, the entire estate to agree to it.
That's cool.
Yeah, no small feat. It was not easy for that to, it almost didn't happen.
But really, So you're pretty familiar with it. I just can't imagine how protective,
What?
reasonably protective you would be of that.
Well, it's understandable. I mean, he's a
Uh-huh.
complicated character.
Absolutely.
Everything from getting, I mean, just his experiences in New York playing the clubs and how they treated him. And, he kind of, that I personally, I mean, there's probably other things too, but I think I see that as a major turning point in his persona, at least his public persona. I mean, he really didn't trust a lot of people after that point, because he was playing a Midtown club, played there forever, and these cops just messed him up. Yeah. And yeah, it's really interesting. He's a really interesting person.
Really. Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, I want to see it. I love Don Cheadle.
Very complex, man.
I do too.
Oh.
I think Don Cheadle's exceptional.
Kansas City guy too.
Hey,
I didn't know that.
we won't hold that against him.
He's the most unspoken Kansas City guy. Like you never hear that he's from Kansas City, but yeah, he's a Kansas City guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Coolest, in my opinion, coolest person from Kansas City.
Not Patrick.
No, not Patrick Mahomes.
What? You're
Patrick Mahomes. Everybody's like, he seems like such a cool guy.
You don't think he's cool?
No, he's cool, but he's not Don Cheadle.
He's not Walt Disney either.
Yeah.
What?
Walt
I
Disney.
think Miles was from Kansas, guys.
Walt Disney was from Kansas City?
Yep.
Wow.
And just south of Kansas City in Fort Scott. Timmy, help me. I can't think. As soon as I said I couldn't think of his name, I've had a time.
I know I don't. I don't know it. The movie's miles ahead.
I'll think of it in a second.
Miles ahead. Okay, I'm gonna.
Miles ahead.
Listen to the album too. It's brilliant.
Well,
Which album?
Miles
You're talking about the soundtrack?
Well,
No,
Miles
the
Ahead
album.
was an album of his.
Miles Ahead was the album? Oh my god.
Well, that was an old album of his.
I'm getting embarrassed in real time.
Gosh, Timmy.
Now, one of the best Miles albums was for, I can't pronounce it in French, so I'm not going to try, but the movie's called Lift to the Scaffold.
Yeah.
And
The
if you
scores
look
were
at,
brilliant.
what's that?
I said the scores were brilliant,
It's a brilliant score. If you get the,
but nothing for me. Kind of cool.
yeah.
I'm just gonna put a pin in this. We just hit 20 minutes on that.
Kind of
third one. So
Billie
So we're-
Holiday. Nobody.
we're on to the last image.
I'm gonna hang out with
Pitches
you.
to Spain, Lift to the Scaffold, Kind of Blue.
Kind of blue. Woo!
And so
You want to listen to the Miles?
if you just finished that third image, please be sure to post it to Instagram using hashtag illustration isolation. Do it now. Don't wait till the end. You won't get them all up, and we will not be refreshing. so you gotta post it now. Be quick. And I'm gonna start the clock on our last 20.
That was fun.
barely did anything on. Poor Billy.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt Bill and Gil.
I was trying to remember Gordon Parks,
Yeah.
photographer,
Oh,
Yeah.
He also
out of Kansas City.
Shaft. He's the producer and director of Shaft. Gordon
Oh,
Parks
really?
is incredible.
Yep.
Incredible.
Gordon Parks directed Shaft?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Directed, I think he
If you
produced
ever
it.
get a chance, there's a documentary, I think midnight. It was a documentary before he passed on. Brilliant. His life, his photography, his philosophy, his style.
They just
Gordon Parks
had
was an icon.
Gil, they just had a show of all of his photography,
There you go.
Miami with Muhammad Ali here in Kansas City.
Okay,
Of Muhammad Ali. It was incredible.
no doubt. No doubt about that.
Has anybody seen the movie Around Midnight?
Of course, Dexter Gordon, babe.
Yes.
When he came back I actually, I'm sorry, when he came back from Paris
Yeah.
that summer, he came back and he won a Grammy. He in New York in the set that we all went to on Wednesday nights called the Jazzmobile, and he performed there. And that was the year he won that Academy Award for his score, for the score for Around Midnight.
Yeah.
And his career just took off. Like, he just reemerged on the scene. But
Yeah.
Dexter Gordon is one of the godfathers.
That's such a great movie too.
Oh, and the movie was brilliant. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's when I heard of him.
So getting to see him, I saw him at the Village Gate, and I saw him at the Jazzmobile, and I actually have a drawing that I did of him. That I never put it out there because of the copyright. I might have to put it out there again.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'll just say it. Look, I was hanging out on at Illustration Isolation, and I just
There you go.
Yeah.
Have any of you seen the Bob Dylan documentary, Don't Look Back?
I've almost watched it, but I haven't yet. Is it any good?
Oh, it's wildly good. It's so it's the it's like 1967 tour, like, so it's him traveling around, and like it's just, the footage is insane.
Is he wearing that like crazy hat get up thing? I think I've seen that. Is that
No.
No? Okay.
No, I mean, everybody's seen it opens with like the footage of him in the alley with the cards
Okay.
to Subterranean, Homesick Blues. But
Come back and just like make a list of all these awesome things you all are talking about.
Alice is putting together a regular newsletter, and we're gonna put together like a watch and listen, I think.
Oh, cool.
And so we'll start adding this stuff to it for everybody. But no, George Pratt, John, it was like the last time George was in town. Me and Christopher the model, and George stayed up until like 3 a.m. watching Don't Look Back. And it's just crazy because it's like Joan Baez, Donovan, all of the, Ginsberg, all of the poets of that era. And it's just them like wrecking hotel rooms. and it kind of made me think of Dylan differently. I saw it when I was younger, and before I had seen it, I really idolized him. And he comes across as kind of a jerk in the documentary. The way he treats people, he's like not.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It might have just. It's kind of understandable. He was like a very young rock star. But there is a really great scene where Donovan is they're all in a hotel room, and it's clearly like the middle of the night, and they've all been drinking and partying, and somebody gives Donovan a guitar, and he plays he's like, I've spent like several months doing this. I just wrote this song. It's taken me forever, right? I'd love it if you listened. And he plays Catch the Wind, which is an incredible Donovan song. And and Bob Dylan's like, oh, that's cool. Here, give me the guitar. He like, it's literally like two people bench pressing, like having to outdo each other. And he gives him the guitar, and Bob's like, so I don't know what this is called yet, but I wrote it this morning. And he plays It's All Over Now, Baby Blue.
Oh.
And it's just like, yeah, they're just like flexing on each other in this hotel room. But
Have you
really interesting. I highly anybody that's a Dylan fan's probably already seen it, but it's great.
Have you seen that new video that David Lynch directed of Donovan?
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
I just recently saw a photo of Donovan and was like, whoa.
it's pretty. It's
Yeah.
pretty David Lynch. You got to watch
Really?
it. Yeah,
Really?
it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. Worth checking out. It's
Love Donovan. I mean, I love his music.
the fever dream, man. It's a fever
Yeah.
dream. I love it.
that's cool. Is that new, Don?
Yeah. No, well, they recorded it. They recorded it a few years back, and then they just released it like maybe a month ago or something.
Oh.
But it they'd had it recorded for quite some time. So yeah.
Did you see the home improvement videos that David Lynch was doing?
No.
Yeah, he was doing these home improvement videos. They were a riot.
That is awesome.
Now I need to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who, David Lynch or Donovan Home Improvement?
David Lynch.
I don't know if I'd trusted Donovan Home Improvement, man.
I don't know if I trust David Lynch.
You would trust David Lynch.
Oh, come on, man. No. Yeah.
I saw a great thing on David Lynch that showed his art and his work and working on his art.
Yeah.
So interesting. I mean, like he did a thing with put a piece of meat in the middle of a canvas
Oh, wow.
and then poured honey on it and then let a trail of ants just come and
Have at it.
have at it. Yeah. But he's so, nonchalant about it and so, kind of happy-go-lucky about the whole thing when he's talking about it. You know what I mean? Like in that very kind of David Lynch way, like, yeah, this is a bunch of ants eating a piece of meat,
What's funny about him is he's one of the great weirdos of all time, American history. But he's, when you hear him talk, he's this really chill Midwestern guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I know he was Peter Wolf's roommate, I think at RISD or BU. I know they studied painting. Peter Lynch from the Jay Giles band.
Peter Wolf.
What's
Peter
that?
Wolf.
You say Peter Wolf?
Oh, did I say Peter Wolf?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I met Peter Wolf from the Jay Giles band.
Dang.
I always got a kick. I think I heard an interview with Peter Wolf where they asked him why it was the Jay Giles band, and he said, he had the car.
That's funny.
Hmm.
Well, yeah, the only reason David Lee Roth was Van Halen's singer was he had a PA.
There you go.
No, what kind of music do you play when you play?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I listen to everything.
Oh, what do you play?
I don't really play anything. I just kind of tool around on a guitar.
Okay.
Make stuff.
Dale's a musician.
Dale's a musician.
Dale. Okay, I got my guys wrong.
That's okay. We're just voices in the ether.
I'm not
I
looking.
could have totally, if I had it together, I could have totally just
Yeah,
my way through that.
Yeah, but then I'd be like, hey, Bill, could you play us off tonight?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I thought it would be cool if you played us off.
that would have gotten me into trouble.
My amp's not working, and
yeah, the strings are broken and
I got to get it restrung. You know how it is. Just
fingers hurt.
it doesn't sound good. It's not me. It's the guitar.
We take a moment and talk about Bob Dylan's epic hair.
I know, right?
Like there's actual swirls.
Yeah.
I've always thought the Kate Blanchett as Bob Dylan was the most believable
Yeah.
Bob Dylan.
That was seriously cool.
Oh, absolutely.
Very good.
Yeah, she's amazing.
So
'Cause
there's
it's almost that era, isn't it? That she's
Yeah.
portraying.
Yeah, like the early.
Does have epic hair.
Bill didn't think much of it, but pretty lightweight.
It had to start somewhere. He didn't have the guts to just really commit. That's all.
It was like somewhere in between the Beatles and Dale.
I saw Bob Dylan at a minor league stadium perform, and Willie Nelson opened for him.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I was a freshman in high school. I had not listened to Willie Nelson, did not care about Willie Nelson, was obsessed with Bob Dylan.
You
Left hating Bob Dylan.
Yep.
And loving Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson's rad, man.
Willie Nelson's great.
Yeah. If
I love Bob Dylan, but it was nobody prepared me for what I went to see.
Yeah, Willie's
You know.
sweet.
Well, if you love Bob Dylan, don't go see Bob Dylan.
Yeah. Nobody warned me. No one in my
I
life.
have not seen Bob Dylan in concert. What does this mean?
Oh, it's
He made a bunch of noise.
It's
And
awful.
he made a ton of noise. It was not recognizable at all. And then he'd go, "That was Maggie's farm."
Yep.
He'd be like, "No, it wasn't."
Oh, yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's
Like,
awful.
no, it wasn't.
So he's just phoning it in. Is that what you're saying? He's just like kind of.
Well,
No.
and I'm not complaining about him not playing guitar. He played piano and stuff, but it was just I wanted to hear the hits, and I wanted to hear the hits in a way that they were relatively recognizable.
Yeah, the way you want to hear it, the way they
Not even because I've seen musicians that they do it, they play the hits and they do it a little different that night, and I'm fine with that. But his were unrecognizable.
he doesn't care about the structure of the song as you heard it. I think he's
Which I mean, I guess I get, because it's like, why work to be, an iconic musician and then be forced to do the same thing over and over again?
No, that would, yeah, I can understand why they feel that way, but also it would drive me nuts.
Okay, Julia says Dylan couldn't have been worse than a drunk Van Morrison. I disagree because that would have at least been entertaining.
I've seen a drunk Tim.
Well, you've seen Van Morrison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing, but
Yeah, that's really good.
but it was pretty heartbreaking. It was the wrong age to be disappointed too, because I was not prepared.
Oh, it's stuck.
It really stung, like, to see an iconic person that I thought was flawless just be horrible. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've seen him once really good and once really bad.
Really?
Well, that's what I've heard. It really isn't like he's so. It's either he's on the money or he's wretched.
Wow.
Willie Nelson threw his hat into the crowd, and I caught it, and an adult cop, an adult man took it from me.
Oh, you're kidding
Yeah.
me.
Yeah,
That's just
I think about it all the time.
that's like that baseball game scene, the kid gets
It was taking a baseball from a kid.
Yeah, that's just like, are you kidding? And you're on TV and just
Yeah.
That's just wrong.
The thing is, at ball games now, I don't know where you're at, Chris, but at Fenway, if that happens, the whole crowd turns on the person. I mean, that's probably because one of our hobbies here is revenge.
I was going to say Fenway.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that at Fenway.
Yeah.
But no, like the crowd turns on him, and like you'll get a chant, "Give it to the kid, give it to the kid."
of course. Yeah.
That's happened here. I've seen that when the Tigers have played too. I think it's starting
I
to
was
go.
going to say 2 years ago when I went up to see Trevor and we watched a game at the new Tiger Stadium. It's the one time I caught a foul ball, and I'm with my son who's 36 years old. I'm 65 years old. What the hell are we going to do? So I looked, and there was a little kid down the way, a little girl walked over, gave it, and you know what? I mean, it was amazing the positive feedback that I got, just out of that small little gesture
Yeah.
of giving a kid a baseball.
Aw.
He'll remember that forever, man.
But was Trevor like, thanks, Dad?
He's like, great,
I
way to
mean,
go.
that was the kind of the funny thing was, but no, he was fine with it. And it was because it was like, of all the games we've gone to, now at 36, I finally catch a baseball and I can't give it to me as a kid. You're an adult, so it was just, to me, the natural response is find a kid and give it to the kid, make their day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
agree. I agree.
Yeah, that was, I was a recipient of that when I took my kids a few years ago. Some random person came up and gave them a ball. It was really awesome.
Aw, that's so wonderful.
Yeah.
We were nowhere near.
Found out that other dude.
You were at a ballpark, right, Don?
Come to think of it, it was this weird alleyway. I don't know. Anyway, it was all blurry. Okay. I only recall a couple of details. So.
I remember one time a friend of mine, I won't mention his name, well known, but anyway, when he had his first kid, that's what I usually do is I always give baseball gloves. Shane, after he was our program manager, she and her husband just had their first child, so give him a baseball cap and a baseball glove. Got to get them started right. Give it.
You're a bit muffled, Chris.
Oh, sorry. Well, I was going to say I gave him a baseball cap and a ball glove. It's just something I do when somebody has a kid. You give a ball glove and a cap or something. I remember some years ago I gave a friend their kid a baseball glove and an autographed baseball by Johnny Bench.
Oh, that's cool.
Whoa.
Of course, I have my visions of the kid at 15 out there in the field, smacking the ball around. So, sort of like that, what is that Sandlot game?
Sandlot.
Who knows? You never know. You give it to somebody and you just got to let it go.
I think my favorite foul ball catches are the people that catch them accidentally in their beer cups.
Yeah, those are the best. Like, yeah, bonus.
My favorite is actually a ball player, and it's a great scene. You look it up. Kevin Mitchell, who was with the Mets and then later on with the Reds, but when he was with the San Francisco Giants, there's a ball hit to him out in the outfield, and he misjudges it, and he reaches up behind him with his bare hand, and he catches the ball.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
wasn't there someone who caught the ball? The player had his hand up to catch it, his glove up to catch it, and a fan caught it.
Oh, well,
Oh,
that was the Yankees Baltimore playoff where the Yankee fan caught the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't that person have to leave town or something?
Oh, no. Are you kidding me? My gosh, the Yankees won, so he became a hero. You're talking about the Steve Bartman, which was the Chicago Cubs. That was
Oh, yeah.
that was a whole different animal.
Change going to witness protection.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, they recently had some kind of event where they were, and they invited him back. And he said, no thanks.
I was watching a clip today where someone hit the ball, it bounced off of Jose Canseco's head, and it became a home run.
Oh, yeah.
I was so happy watching that. I'd never seen it before. It's like, oh, I'm so happy to see that. Anyway.
Yeah, the hardest surface in the stadium.
That was a famous one.
Oh,
Chris,
I can't believe I've never seen that before.
Chris, you'll get a kick out of this. The coolest job I've ever photo assisted. I got hired by Nick Vidros, and we did portraits of every player on the Royals and the Mets. The day of the, I think it was day of Game 3.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was cool. So we got to meet every single player.
That's very cool.
That was back when, It's a shame that that team wasn't able to stick together, because that was a great Kansas City team.
Mhm. Yeah, that was fun.
Moustakis. Moustakis is right now with the Reds.
I think I'm trying to think of who's left.
Who was the pitcher we got from you, Chris? From the
Cueto. Johnny Cueto.
Johnny Cueto, yeah.
I remember, so, everybody there was a seasoned pro. They were acting like they'd been there before. And there was one story. It was a kid on the Mets who had gotten put on the team.
Right.
He had never, his first MLB game was the World Series.
Oh, wow.
Oh, gosh.
And so he had never been there. And we're doing this photo shoot where there's 25 people organizing it. And me and Nick Vidros are kind of at the end of this this hallway where the photo shoot's happening. And this kid, he shook hands and introduced himself and thanked every single person to get to us. Whereas, Moustakis, like those guys, they didn't say hi, they don't talk, they didn't, acknowledge us. As far as athletes, I think they were as far as athletes I've met, they were much more relaxed around strangers. Cause if they shake your hand and get a cold, it has a financial cost to the team.
Oh yeah.
Timmy, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't there also a player who was pitching for the Kansas City Royals who ended up being, I think, part of the trade with the Reds, who the year before he pitched in the College World Series, got drafted by the Royals, and pitched in the World Series for the Royals that same year.
You're right. I can't remember his name now.
Yeah, I can't think of it either. I mean, unfortunately, he has not panned out, as that entire trade with the Royals has not panned out.
All right. So now, since we've lost all of our non-MLB listeners, which good riddance.
Oh, wow.
No,
Nice.
I'm just trying to, I'm batting for you tonight, Chris. We're at the end of our 20 minutes for that last pose. Flew by.
So you got a couple minutes, and then we're going to start looking through.
Yeah.
And everybody, Chris, you haven't been here since we do this very differently now.
Uh-oh.
And it
I
goes,
got my picture hanging right there, so you can see it right there.
Oh, that looks awesome.
Wow, Chris, that's amazing.
My drawing.
Yeah. So I'm just going to reiterate what John was saying. If I know everybody on the panel's drawing, but if you joined us tonight, please post your work now. Hashtag illustration isolation at Visual Arts Passage. And John's gonna share his screen. We're gonna check out some of the work that got made tonight.
This is definitely one I want to work on more.
I'll do my Dylan. I'm stuck in Holiday. And it ain't going right. So my drawing's on Holiday.
but we were talking about Gary Kelly posted his Tangled Up in Blue of Dylan yesterday.
Yeah, that was terrific.
That's a great piece.
Somebody just asked, do we check Twitter? No, we only check Instagram. It's just because it's just the fastest. But if you, I'll retweet it if you tag us on Twitter.
I'm trying to post right now for you.
I'm waiting for you, Chris. I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Okay, at illustration isolation.
All right. Well, that's
Okay.
nice. So that's
See if
good.
tell me if it shows up.
Okay. I'm gonna hit refresh.
It's been a minute since we've had Audrey join us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was just thinking that. I was thinking about a few people who've disappeared lately.
We got to see Audrey last night for,
Oh, Steady Hall.
yeah.
Okay, here we
Oh.
go. Are we ready?
Are you ready,
Everybody
John?
Ready.
Let's see
Nobody
it.
says a word.
Bring it.
I'm here.
Do
Yeah.
this.
Can you hear me?
Can
Yeah.
you hear me now?
You must have lost John's audios off or something. You're good, John.
I think my Dylan looks more like Ron Wood or Rod Stewart.
Gosh, John's either extremely still or totally frozen. Yeah, here he goes. Here he is. He's back. And he's muted, but he's back.
Perfect timing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
All right. It wouldn't be a webinar without a technical problem.
I hope that doesn't happen again.
Wow, Cassandra, that looks fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it looks great.
So we're starting with Mr. Payne.
Oh, cool.
How
Wow.
about that?
Not bad,
Nice.
Chris.
Thank you.
You zoom in on that one.
Not bad.
Nah, I don't think I want to zoom in on that one. Look at that.
Wow.
Gorgeous.
Nice
Starting
piece,
to
Chris.
get it.
Yeah, Chris is
Oh.
getting better, isn't he?
Yeah, he's starting to really pick it up.
No, it's only been a year and change.
I try. I try.
This is
Okay,
great.
you guys tell me if you want me to.
So I can tell that's Devin's piece, top middle.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
And
This is great.
I love that one right below it, the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the Billy is beautiful there.
Looks like Doug
oh,
Bell.
so good. Oh my
Is that
God.
Anthony or who did Billie Holiday on the left there?
Is that Doug?
That's
Is that
Doug.
Doug?
That's
No.
got Doug.
Oh
Julian.
no,
Julian.
Julian. Good job, Julian.
Oh, Julian. Okay.
Really nice.
Yeah, really
Very
nice.
nice.
Julian's getting most clicked on award. He gets all the clicks.
That's really beautiful piece. Oh, it's him again.
Julian again.
Julian.
Good
Nice.
job.
Really nice.
Wow.
This is really nice too.
Oh, cool.
Good job.
Love it.
Really nice.
That's a new handle, new person.
Starlight Crown.
I'm not clicking on that.
Yeah, I know who that is.
I like that Miles on the left.
Oh, that's great.
Mhm.
Is this oh, that's great.
Nickelodeon.
Nice.
Cool.
Very cool.
Wow.
Oh, I like that Miles in the middle there.
Yeah, it's a nice one.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Beautiful movement. Love
And
that.
that red one too.
See, that's Marcy.
I know who that is. That's Marcy.
Yeah.
Very nice, Marcy. Ooh,
Oh, that's a nice one too.
man, Heather.
Lovely.
Very nice.
Wow,
Ooh,
very
Yeah.
cool.
great color.
Really beautiful. Oh, there's so many good ones.
Ah,
Oh, wow.
I like that purple Miles too on the left.
Yep,
That's nice.
it's Heather again.
Yeah.
Heather. Really well done. Oh man.
Oh, that's
Yeah, look at that one.
Anthony.
Hoochie mama.
Good job.
Wow.
Mhm.
That one's fantastic too.
Yep.
Adam. Hey, Adam.
Hey, hey.
Hey, Adam, we got to get you on camera next week.
I know.
I'll reach out to you this week. Adam's a really good illustrator.
Upcoming
love
guest
it.
speaker too.
Yep.
Upcoming guest speaker, yeah.
I have to check this out. I knew.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, hey, hey.
Fantastic.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Ooh. Nice.
Nice.
Very nice.
Nice.
I can't resist.
Oh, that's awesome.
I
Yeah.
just can't resist.
Are you kidding?
It's so good.
That's right there with that dog.
Yeah.
That is really good.
Chris, when I don't think you were here, but I traded Felicity a drawing for a couple of her drawings.
Awesome. I remember you, I heard you made the announcement when you announced
Well,
it.
we the trade has been completed.
That's great.
That's a really fun piece too. Nice, Marcy.
Very cool.
Wow.
So many good ones.
I like how that looks like Sainted Miles
Yeah.
on the left.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Nice.
That's cool.
Oh,
Ooh, that one, yeah.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah, really nice.
Oh,
really
that's
cool.
cool.
That looks like something out of a like late 50s, early 60s editorial piece. It's just
Totally.
so
Yeah.
beautiful.
David Stone Martin.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Beautiful.
Yeah, there you go. Good
All
click.
right.
Good click.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
One in the middle.
One in the middle. Yeah.
Is that
that's
AJ again?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Killer.
Yep.
This was nice too.
Yeah.
Adam.
Oh, yeah.
Very
Oh.
cool.
I like that one.
I like a lot of them.
This is amazing. Thank you everybody for posting this. It's awesome seeing all this.
Very nice, John.
That's a great one.
That's cool.
That's fun.
Okay.
Wow.
I got to post it. This is from this morning.
Charlie Parker. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
We're through with them all. Wow.
Yeah. Wow, that was great, everybody.
Very fun night, everybody.
Before we say goodbye, the one thing I want to say is Studio Bridge. We have a new feature and it's awesome. It is one-on-one critiques. Put it to use. If you're not participating in Studio Bridge, if you enjoyed what we did tonight, this is just scratching the surface. So I'll share a link to it in the chat before we sign off tonight. But essentially what you do is you can submit some work. You'll get feedback, video feedback within 48 hours. John English is handling a lot of this. That feedback, John, right? It's got paint overs, critique, notes. You can ask questions, but it's fast. It's really easy. So can't recommend it highly enough. Please check it out. I'm going to share a link to it in the chat. Not only do you get the feedback, though, you get all these amazing guest speakers. A lot of people we actually been talking about tonight. So don't miss out on.
All right. Are we good?
So that.
If we're not good, we're average.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, everybody. Chris and Dale and Cassandra and Bill Cobe and Don Kilpatrick and Gil, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was really fun. It's great to see you, Chris. Haven't seen you in a while.
Oh, last week I was fishing in North Carolina.
All right.
Nice.
All right, everybody.
Have a nice
Have a
night.
great